guys, welcome back. This is Adam with Carnage Comics and Cards, and today we're doing a how-to commander deck. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the strategies and resources that I use to develop a commander deck. I usually am trying to do something different in that color combination that's not usually seen, or I'm trying to build a commander in an unexpected way. So what commander are we building today? Well, we're building the deck called Party Time. And our commander is Barakos, Party Leader. So Barakas is a 3 in a swamp, and he is a legendary orc creature. And so it reads, Barakas, Party Leader, is also a cleric, a rogue, warrior, and wizard. Whenever Barakos attacks, defending player loses X life, and you create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of creatures in your party. Choose a background. So Barakos is from Commander Legends Battles of Baldur's Gate, and he is unique for this color combination that I'm building. I'm going to choose a background of folklore, so it is a Orzhov color combination, white-black, and normally Orzhov is used to do things like aristocrats. So what is a background? Well, background came out in this Commander Legends set, and it is an enchantment that you can have in the command zone. It can be any color, so it allows you to be a commander of any two colors. I chose for this folklore. Folklore says commander creatures you own have whenever you cast a creature that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So what does that mean? Well, since he's 1, 2, 3, 4 different creatures, and the amount of life is based on the number of creatures in your party, then every time I play a creature of one of those different types, I'm going to draw a card. So what is the party? Well, a party is basically when you have on the battlefield a cleric, a rogue, a warrior, and a wizard. So X can only ever be 4, but it will, trigger based off of that. So we're going to create some custom categories. The first thing that I want to do, I'm going to have a balance of clerics, rogues, warriors, and wizards. So to do that, we just go into here, go more options. Let's go to, not there. Actually, let's just go ahead and add our first card. So the first card that comes to mind for me, and a lot of times this is how I start decks, is I already know a certain number of cards that I absolutely want to add. So Lotho, because he's a rogue, and a rogue is part of a party. Let's go ahead and take a look. What is Lotho? So Lotho is whenever a creature casts their second spell, each turn you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. So this is going to create synergy with the treasure portion of this. So you're going to get extra treasures. And he's also a rogue. So when you play him and Barakas is in play, you're going to draw a card because of the folk hero, sorry. And let's go ahead and we're going to add categories. So we're going to do some custom categories. First thing we want to do here, whoops, go ahead and add. I guess that's right. Here we go. Create new category. Okay. So we're going to call this rogue. All right. So create the category. Okay. So, and you can have multiple categories. He is ramp. He is also rogue. He's not technically ramp. Treasure, because it's temporary, is not really ramp. I consider it so, though. A lot of people do. Some people can be particular about that, so I'll make that point. So that's our first rogue. So what's my strategy here for building a deck? So like I said, I usually have those items that I know I want to add. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to EDH Rec. This is a resource here, and I'm going to type in the name of my commander that I'm building. So in this case, it's Barakos. How do we spell Barakas? Oh. Barakas, party leader. Okay. So, yep, folk hero. And let's take a look here. So we're going to have new cards. They're out in the latest set, and then you're going to have your top 10 highest synergy cards. These are usually cards that are going to be in most decks. So as you can imagine, 96% of, or of the 3,000 decks recorded on EDHREC have this card. So this is probably a card that you're going to want. So let's go ahead, we'll copy that, and let's take a look. So she says, you may look at the top card of your library, and you get to play a party card from the top of your library once, I guess not once per turn, just off the top. So you can look at it any time. Yeah, so you can continually draw or play cards off the top of your library until you run into something that's not a party member. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So, and those creatures gain Death Touch. Very strong. Okay, let's go ahead and paste that in. And boom, now it's added to our deck. So she is also a rogue. So let's go ahead and change the category here. See, there's rogues. And let's go ahead and add draw as well. Okay, so that is now added. Let's go ahead and go back here. So another card that we want to have is this Grim Hireling. So Grim Hireling, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to player, you create 2 treasure tokens. So again, synergy with the treasures. Let's go ahead and add that here. So I actually have one of these Grim Hirelings already. However, it is skyrocketed in price, so it's $23 or $14 looks like from TCG. I bet it's actually not. That's sometimes the other thing about Archidekt. Sometimes you got to be careful. It'll say $14, but then if I go look here, $14.70, actually, so pretty close. But in general, it can be really far off sometimes. I don't know how often these get updated. It is a good resource though to give you an estimate. However, if you already have a card like this, you just may want to talk with your play group. You can always proxy these cards. There's lots of different websites you can go to, and that way you don't have to buy them multiple times. You can have it in more than one deck and don't have to move it between. And as long as your group's okay with that, I know my group is. So, all right. So this is another rogue. So let's go ahead and add a category, and we will add rogue, and they'll make it. Putting the star here makes it the primary category. All right, so here's the next thing I like to do is I will come here to Scryfall, right? Let's go to advanced search, and we can type in our commander's colors. You select here for commander, you're going to select white and black, and we can go here now and we can say rogue. So now if we do a search, this will go through the history of Magic and will give you all of the possible rogues that you can play. Even things like Blood Hustler, which is a new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So you can not only use EDHREC, but you can also use Scryfall, and you can search for specific things. Scryfall is really nice. You don't have to even put in the creature type. You could just put in like draw a card, right? If I just want to draw cards, again, select white, black, and these are all of the Orzhov draw cards. So here's a perfect example. Whenever an opponent searches their library, you get one life and draw a card. So we're going to add that definitely to our deck because it's a cleric as well. So I'm going to go through here and we'll break, and when we come back, I'll have a list of all the rogues, the warriors, and the wizards that I want to have in this deck. Also clerics. So rogues, clerics, warriors, and wizards. And then we will then discuss ramp and the removal. Ramp, removal, and lands is what's, that's going to make up most of your deck. You have your draw, you have your creatures, you have your removal, and then you may have some different things that kind of synergize with your commander. That'll be kind of enchantments and things of that nature. So we'll come back here and regroup, and we'll talk about that stuff after I have all the creatures added. All right, so we're back here, and here are our creatures. So we have several things going on here, and let's just kind of get into it. So we've got an equal number of clerics, rogues, warriors, and wizards. And let's see what they all do. So like this is the main category. You can go here to multiple categories. Okay, so now you have where you can see not only what the custom categories are, but what their default categories are. So we have a number of anthems here. Anthems basically are effects that are static that are on the board. So other creatures you control get +1/+1. We have a couple of drains. We're not doing aristocrats, but it's really difficult to stay out of drain completely. We have 1 life gain card, 8 draw cards. That's pretty good. 8's not bad. And they draw all in different ways. We got a token card. We have a sack outlet, a few pieces of removal, a few pieces of recursion. Recursion is getting something back from your graveyard. We have a few pieces of ramp, a couple pieces of protection, a tutor, and that's basically it. So what I think we need a bit more of, I think we need more life gain. I think that's a good thing to have in black and white. We're going to be draining other people, so if we're gaining life and we're draining other people with Barakos, that's a good thing. We need some more protection. Barakos being a 4 cost, it doesn't seem expensive, but on your second cast it's 6. On your third cast it's 8. So we really don't want to lose him. So we need to find some better forms of protection. 1 tutor is probably fine. And we need lots of ramp. So something I found with the warriors, the warriors that stood out to me, and everybody's different, but it's these ones from Warhammer 40K, and it has this squad ability. So you're able to pay, so this is a 3/3, and then when it enters battlefield, destroys an artifact or an enchantment, and it's got, for 4. So if I pay 4 and then 2 more, so if I pay 6 as an additional cost to cast this, if I pay 2 any number of times, so I could actually pay as much as 4 plus 4, I could pay 8 mana and I would get 3 of these guys, and I get 2 tokens. I get tokens based on the number of times I pay this too. So if I pay it once, I get 1 token. If I pay it twice, in other words, I pay 4, I get 2. So you would be able, if you paid 8, you could destroy 2 enchantments and you would get 3/3/3s. Like it's a great card. So I have a lot of these squad cards. So then I got to thinking, well, what other squad cards are there? Maybe stuff that isn't necessarily a party card, but would fit with that theme. So I did some searching on Scryfall, and I found a couple here. I found from Fallout, we have Gary Clone, which Gary Clone attacks, you get +1/+0 till end of turn for each card named Gary Clone. So let's go ahead and add that. Gary Clone. Okay. The other one here is Wasteland Raider. So this is a removal card. So if you pay 4, each player has to sacrifice a creature. If I pay 6, each player has to sacrifice 2 creatures, and so on and so forth. So it's a good little piece of removal, and it plays into our theme of squad. So this is kind of turning into a bit of a squad deck. And the other thing that I noticed is I have a lot of these. Not only is this one squad, but it's also miracle. So you can cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew. So again, it's like, well, that's kind of cool. I got a few of these, and they have, you can tell them by their borders. They kind of have different borders, the miracle cards. And so I was looking, what other cards do we have in Magic that have miracle? So I did a search on Orzhov colors, and I found I already have these added, but I have these. So I was like, well, this is a good removal card. Let's go ahead and add it. So Terminus. Go ahead and add that. What else we got? Banishing Stroke. Again, another cool removal card. Banishing Stroke. All right. We've got Entreat the Angels. Another token card. I only have 1 of those, so it's good in Commander to have tokens. And then what else do we got? Entreat the Dead. Kind of the opposite. Let you bring stuff from your graveyard. So more recursion. So that's another cool card. And I think that's it. So now we have all the miracle cards in white and black. So now we have another kind of sub theme going on. Okay. So something else I thought about is a lot of these wizards in black kind of do a zombie thing. So what if we had a sub theme of zombies? Well, let's see here. Let's go back to our categories. And these are all of our wizards. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with the wizards I have. This one's a ramp spell. This is a draw. This lets me steal some stuff. This is another ramp spell. There's another draw spell. Like, we have pretty good wizards. I think it's trying to do too much. So you gotta be careful when you're building a deck that you don't try and build in too many sub themes and try to do too many things. What can happen is then your deck just feels kind of blah. It's not gonna do anything. It's gonna do one of each thing, and then it's just not gonna feel cohesive. So I think we're gonna pass on the zombie thing. All right. So the next thing we got to look at is, okay, what other cards do we have in EDH Rec that are not creatures, that are instant sorceries, artifacts, enchantments, and even battles? So one of the first things I ran upon, and I bookmarked this so we could talk about it, is this equipment. So it says, equipped creature has lifelink if you control cleric, death touch if you control rogue, haste if it's a warrior, flying if it's a wizard. So if you have full party, prevent all damage. So like basically this was built for a party deck. So this is really good in a party deck. It's probably not very good in much else, but it's kind of feels like a must-have in this one. So let's go ahead and add that. Okay. Next thing I found here while I was doing my searching was this is actually a removal, right? Deals 3 damage to any target, you gain 3 life. You transform it, it's also a wizard, so it's kind of both. So we can get ourselves another wizard, and also some life gain and some damage, so some removal. So let's go ahead, and on top of that, it's a battle. Battles are cool, right? That should be my catchphrase. Battles are cool. I really think battles are underrated. I will hype battles up all the time. You will hear me talk about them nonstop. They are well costed for what you get on the front side. So if you can get the back side, right, it's not costing you any additional resources and you get an additional benefit. So Invasion of Zendikar is one that I love to play. It's a 4-cost battle that gives you 2 lands onto the battlefield, and then when you kill it, it gives you a 4/4. Right. So again, this one, where did it go? Let's go types. Easiest to find it that way. Okay, so here's our battle. So this, you're getting a 3/3, and whenever an opponent's creature dies, you get a 1/1. You gain 1 life, and you get the so like it's 5 costed. So it's actually this one is not as well costed as a lot of the other ones. I think it's actually you're getting because it's only 5 damage. That's quite a bit. This card's not great, but a lot of times, when we look at these battles, it's pretty worth it just for the front side. This one you kind of need both sides. I'm still going to keep it in here just because it fits our theme. It's a cheap card, cheap removal. Maybe we we change that later on, but for now, we'll leave it in there. It's funny. I was just talking about battles and I picked the one battle that's not very good. This is how it goes sometimes. All right, I wasn't looking at the cost of it. All right, next we have a sorcery spell. The spell costs 1 less for each creature in your party. So return target creature and up to 1 target cleric rogue, which are from your graveyard, to the battlefield. Like this is really good in a party deck. This feels like a must-have. Let's go ahead and add that. I'm guessing some of these cards were built for that pre-con. There was a pre-con, Barakos was the alternative commander for that deck. So, yeah. All right, next we have a Witch Enchanter, right? So this is a human warlock. It's an MDC. I always forget their abbreviation. It's a modal land, right? You can 2-sided land, right? It can be a land on one side and a creature on the other. Go ahead and add that. We'll get into lands here in a little bit. So, where did that go? It's got too much going on here. Let's go to regular categories. Okay. So it's a warlock. And does a warlock technically count? No, so a wizard is different from a warlock. I kind of thought it was a wizard, but that's okay. Still a great card. All right, Stick Together is another one that was made for, I think, for the pre-con. Each player chooses a party from among creatures they control and sacrifices the rest. Everyone else is going to have to sacrifice, but maybe one creature. You're probably going to get to keep most of your creatures when you use this. Okay, Stick Together. All right, so kind of gone through that now. Let's take a look at our instance. Okay, so these are must-haves in any white deck. Just automatic include for the most part. I like this. It's non-land permanent. Non-land permanent is going to be better than creature. So here's another non-land permanent. I like this one. It's a 1/1 human. Over this, it gives you a 3/3. So we will add that. We're going to need some protection. I hate adding too expensive stuff. I do actually already own one of these, so I probably will just proxy it and add it to this deck later on. Same thing with Ink Shield. It's a great card. Love this card. All right, so Unexplained Absence. I've never put this in a deck. So for each player, exile up to one target non-land permanent player controls. For each permanent exiled this way, his controller cloaks the top card of their library. That sounds fun. I always like to try to find different stuff. Different stuff is always, you know, fun to try and test out, and you can always change it, but it's going to make your decks feel different, and it will keep them fresh and fun. So go ahead and add our swords. Okay, we need to add our multiple categories so we can watch our numbers on things. So I typically add anywhere from 5 to 6 pieces of targeted, single targeted removal. I like to add 1 or 2 board wipes, although that's starting to feel like you might need to start adding more if they continue to push the ward mechanic, because unfortunately board wipes are one of the only ways around ward if you're not ramping to oblivion. So let's go ahead, check these in. Archidekt is great resource for building decks. It does run a little slow sometimes though. I hope I don't get in trouble for showing Archidekt on my YouTube. I don't know what the copyrights are on that. Okay. Let's see here. How much removal do we got now? 13 pieces. Oh, wow. So we have more than enough removal here. And we're going to have to cut some pieces, I think. These are protection, so let's go ahead and add Teferi's. This is the best protection spell in all of Commander. Let's go ahead and add that. I also want to add Everybody Lives. Kind of a similar thing. So 2 of those, and then also the card, what's the name of it? Man, I do this all the time. It is Ghostway, that's it. So this one's just specific to your creatures. Okay, so these are kind of a fog effect. So now we have 5 pieces of protection. Let's go ahead and get some boots. I always add at least 1. This is protection. It's blank, but it's protection. It's kind of both. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna add this protection, and then gotta add some boots. I like, and I know that Lightning Greaves is actually the better of the 2, but I tend to add Swiftfoot boots to more decks just because I like the hexproof over the shroud, and you don't have to constantly be swapping it back and forth to get things attached to your to your part, your commander. So in this case, we only have the one so far, but we may add more. And if we don't, I'll probably go back and change it. But there is let's go ahead here and go back to type so I can tell you what card I'm talking about. Because it's right now with all these multiple categories, it's tough. So, my goodness, what is going on here? Okay. The artifact, like for instance, if I'm trying to equip this to Baracos, I've got to, with Lightning Greaves, move it off to a different creature, cast this, attach it, and then reattach Lightning Greaves. It is a 0 equip cost. However, when you move those Lightning Greaves off of that creature, and let's say then you cast multi-class Baldric, your opponent can cast at that moment a removal spell on your commander, and your commander, it will die. You don't get the chance to then say, oh no, I equip it back. Like no, it'll be gone. So you don't want to do that. So because it will, yeah. So well, I guess I take that back. The way the stack works, if you go to equip back the Lightning Greaves and then they do the removal will actually resolve before the boots. But you could actually, if they cast a removal spell, then equip the boots, and then it would gain its shroud, and then it would not have target. Sorry, so I said that backwards. But anyway, it's one of those high level stack questions. All right, so go ahead and add our ink shield. Okay, go here, categories. How are we doing on, here we go. So we're probably gonna have to do some cutting. We're still good so far. We're probably gonna have about 35, 36 lands. I usually shoot for 35. That's where I usually feel pretty good about it. So we got 5 pieces of recursion, we got 4 pieces of ramp, so we need some more ramp, plenty of protection. We're good there now. What else do we got? We got plenty of draw. Could probably use some more life gain, but let's Galadriel's Dismissal again. This is another phase out spell, another protection spell. I'll go ahead and add it for now. I've not used this one, so I may take something else out and use this. Galadriel's Dismissal. Wow, that card's getting expensive. I don't remember it being that much last time I looked at it. Unexplained Absence, Fun Removal. Let's go ahead and use that. Okay. Let's go ahead and drop some removal here. Let's take out Stroke of Midnight. There we go. Good, good, good. All right, looking good, looking good. All right, so let's keep going down this list now. Okay. So here's we already have one board wipe. Let's go ahead. We'll add a second one. I'm not going to add any more tutors. Good there. Okay, as far as artifacts go, this is the white one. How's our color breakdown at the moment? See, this is another cool aspect. See, so we're doing really good. We have, 32 to 40. So, and our curve looks pretty good as well. So we just need to, we don't want to focus on the monuments, I don't think. Let's see, we do need ramp. So, here we go. And a Bolas's Citadel. Oof, that'd be really fun in this deck. Probably a Smothering Tithe is good. Let's see here. All right. Land tax. Yes, please. I like this Cathar's Crusade. What battle do we have? So this one says, Invasion of New Capenna. You may sacrifice an artifact or creature. When you do, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls. So, and then Holy Frazzle Cannon. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on creature and each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. I don't think that's that great. Ooh, Mutavault. I actually have one of these and I haven't had a reason to use it, so I really like that. That'll definitely go in there. So kind of going through the lands now. I love these channel lands. They're great. Ooh, Black Gate. Choose a player with the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by that creature that that player controls. Interesting. I have this one, minus Turret, allows you to draw. This is a great card too. This one's cheaper than a lot of the other channel lands too. We don't need this. We don't need this. These are really high dollar pieces. We're gonna be drawing a lot of cards, so we're gonna want a Reliquary Tower for sure. All right, let's add these. And then you can start talking about lands. All right, I'm gonna add these and then I'll be back. Okay, and we're back. And so I've added all those cards. I'm also gonna add, because every deck needs one, a Soul Ring. And I also want to add a Thought Vessel. So these both will, the Vessel will add another card that will give us a no maximum hand size since we're going to be drawing so many cards. So the whole thing here that we have going on with these squad cards is we are going to get a ton of treasure. Every time we attack, we're going to get, 4 or 5 treasures, and we're going to be able to basically pump the extra mana that we get from those treasures into squad. So that's kind of the plan with this deck right now. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so we got 9 pieces of protection. We've got 9 pieces of ramp. Feeling pretty good. I think it's time to add our lands. So let's go ahead and take a look. So the easiest way to do lands is come up here to the rec link. Okay, so now that this is loaded up, let's go ahead and pull our lands up. So these are the lands that we can do. Path of Ancestry is not going to be good here because our commander's only black, so I don't really like that. Definitely going to need some basics. I would think at least 5. Let's say 5 of each for now. Okay, and it's a decent one. Abajuka Bog, absolutely. Let's get a Pain land. Let's go ahead. Scry land, Bounce land. And that one's pretty affordable. Vault of Champions. So that's $16 from Marsh Flats. Not bad, we don't really need it. Let's get the Mana Fixer. Well, this is a reveal land. That's fine. 2 or more other lands. That's fine as well. Their Mana Fixer. And let's go ahead and Rogue's Passage as well, so we can get our commander in guaranteed. I'm going to pay 3 to get 2 cards. That's not great. Command Tower. That's a great card. I don't care what deck you're in. Give me monocolored deck. I don't care. That's great. Alright, so how many lands does that give us? We are up to... There. Right there. So we got 26 lands. So we're going to need some more lands. Just add some more basics. We will find more lands later. So this is our rough draft. Okay, so this is the first iteration. So do 9. And what else do we got here? Where's it? There. So this is our first draft. So basically what I'm going to do now after I finish this, which I'm nearly done here. What's that give us? 30? Add a couple more to each. more planes, is I let these stew for a while. There is Bloomborough. I'll be doing some videos on Bloomborough coming out. Bloomborough coming out soon, and that's fine for now. There could be cards in there that I really want to add. So if I'm not building this deck tomorrow, which I'm really not, I can wait until that set comes out and add cards to it that I think apply and work really well. So there may be some rogues or wizards or clerics that are awesome for this deck. So you just kind of have to wait and see. Like here's a perfect example. This is going to be coming out in Duskmourn, which is in October. Really excited for that set. Love horror movies. It's a horror movie theme. You know, there's a lot of homage to old horror movies. This one, it create a 4/4 beast, and then if you have 4 more creature tokens, your tokens have flying. So with squads, that's going to work really well. So basically, we're going to look to see other ways from now until the next time I do a video on this deck. What other ways can we create synergy here? What other ways can we make this deck feel like it's humming, right? So that everything's working together. So we are 4 cards away. I'm not going to add those 4 cards right now. We're close enough. Something that you can always do is use the play tester. So that's the process I go through to create a deck. I hope you learned something from this, took something away, maybe something to improve your own deck building skills. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and this is the first video in a series, and I hope that you continue along with me as we continue to tweak this deck and change it and build it, and yeah, see you in the next one.